to be here with you. Props if you want to use them. Blocks are sometimes handy to have. I mean, I don't really think we're going to use them very much anyway. Or like if you have a blanket that you want to keep handy, grab mine over here. That's always nice to protect the knees. If your knees are feeling a little bit uncomfortable, all that good stuff. Let's bring ourselves on to hands and knees once you've sort of organized yourself in space. And from here, without being too precious about it, just take a nice big breath in through the nose and exhale, sigh it out. Again, inhaling in through the nose and exhaling to sigh it out. And so as we're moving in and out of our breath here, feeling the weight of your body being distributed through your whole hand. So not just sitting into the heel of the hand, but pressing into those finger pads as well. Starting to consider adding some movement to this breath. So as we inhale, we're lengthening our chest forward, sliding our shoulder blades down our backs as we take that inhale. As we breathe out, scooping and rounding through the spine, scooping that belly underneath us. Again, inhaling to lengthen it out. So we've been here a fair few times in our time together. And so knowing that it's not about sitting into our shoulders, but really rather about drawing the shoulder blades down the back. As we breathe out, scooping and rounding, pushing that floor away, hollowing the belly. So now our shoulder blades go wide on our back. As we inhale, shoulder blades slide down and try to hug towards the spine as your chest draws forward, tail lengthens. As we breathe out again, scooping and rounding, giving those glutes a squeeze, separating the shoulders. 2 more. Inhaling through that nose, expanding out. Exhaling to round. 1 more time. Inhaling to lengthen it out. Exhaling to round. And then bringing ourselves onto hands and knees. So I will say that there is a little bit of wrist work to be had here today, but I'm going to give us options if we're not loving it. And so in the spirit of that, start to maybe circle your body around in space, drawing your arms forward, around to the left and then back, just sort of circling your body weight around those wrists, noticing anywhere that maybe feels tender or maybe feels fine, reaching around in those circles. And then taking it the other way. Reaching around. Bringing ourselves into some really lovely circumduction here on top of our wrists. Coming into that breath. And then pausing at center. So we're going to start by mobilizing through those shoulders. So we're going to keep our arms really, really nice and tight. As you inhale, let your chest drop down. So kind of like we did in our cat and cows, except we're not lengthening through our tail now. It's just the chest that draws down. As you breathe out, feel like your sternum is drawing up and in to push that floor away. As we inhale, allowing the chest to draw down as the shoulders hug together, but again, not lengthening through the back, and then exhaling to super spread those shoulders. So it's a little more isolated this time because we're not moving through the spine. We're just working on that effort of pushing from our serratus. Super duper important work here. Exhaling to reach. 2 more times. Inhaling it down. Exhaling to push away. Last time, inhaling. You're going to exhale to super push, super push, super push. So don't stop pushing the floor away. Tighten up through those arms. We're going to tuck our toes. Taking a breath in to be here. As you breathe out, maybe it feels reasonable to lift those knees to hover. Inhale to lower down, tap. Exhale to lift and hover. So we're going to keep going here. I'm going to give some other options. Lift your knees to hover. Keep going. If hovering like this and your wrist doesn't work, if it does, keep moving. The other option would be from standing to take a bit of a squat. Inhale to stand up tall, exhaling to squat. Yeah, either way, we're starting to turn on through those quadriceps. If your hands and knees, you're also working through the arms and the shoulders. And no matter what version of this you're working on, making sure that the rib cage is drawn in and your abs are on. Let's go for 3. Lifting it up. Let's go for 2. Lifting it up. When that's time, you're going to lift up and hold. Now, maybe you're holding your knees off of the floor in a hover. Maybe you're holding yourself in a squat. If you're in a squat, you're going to start to do little pulses up and down, up and down, up and down. If you're in your knee hover, maybe we super push the floor away with the left hand and then bring the right hand to the left shoulder, holding it for 2, holding it for 1, bring it down. Take a little pause, breathing in. As we breathe out, left hand to right shoulder for 2, for 1. Put it down. Again, each side, or you could be pulsing up and down in your squat, yeah? So picking a version that works for you. That hand down, left side, left hand to right shoulder. Everybody lower down to the floor. Take a shell stretch. Nice big breath in through the nose. Exhaling it out. While we're down here, let's walk the hands over to the right. Feel the left hip hugging back in space. Taking a nice breath in. Breathing it out. Walking those hands through center over to the left side. Feeling the right hip hug back. Breathing in and breathing out. Bringing our hands back to center all the way up. So if being hands right under shoulders, knees underneath the hips works for you, you're going to stay there. If you'd like to walk those knees back so that you're in more of a hip hinge, more of a kneeling plank, feel free to head in here. We're doing the same thing. So tighten up through those arms, fire through your glutes. Allow your chest to drop down in space and then breathe out, push the floor away, tighten through those arms. Inhale, the chest draws down, the arms are tight, squeeze those shoulder blades. Exhale to push. And so we're trying to really target that space underneath the armpits as we push away. Trying to avoid elevation, this is lifting up the shoulders to the ears. Pushing that floor down and away from you, hugging those knees in towards the heels of your hands. We're going for 2. Exhale to super duper push. One more time, super duper push, and then pause. Tuck the toes. Now you're gonna keep the knees bent as you lift them into a little hover. So don't straighten into a plank. Inhale to lower down. Exhale, push the floor away, lift your knees up to a hover. Inhale down. Exhale to lift up to hover. Now you could always come onto forearms here if you would like. You're still gonna get a lot out of it. It's just a little less pressure on the wrists. You could also come back up to standing and visit back into some squats, yeah? So 3 different versions there, standing and squatting on your forearms or on your hands, those kneeling lifts. We're going for 3. We're going for 2, getting warm, yeah? Last one, we're gonna lift, we're gonna hold. So option to hold where you are. If you're standing, you're gonna start those little pulses, yeah? Down in your squat. If you're holding that kneeling hover and you're feeling fabulous, bring your right hand to tap your left shoulder. For 2, for 1, pop it down, take a breath in. As you breathe out, left hand to right shoulder, push the floor away. For 2, for 1, put it down, breathe in. You're pulsing your hips or you're holding your hover or you're in that shoulder tap, yeah? 3, 2, 1. Bring it down, everybody lower down, take a shell stretch. Inhaling in through the nose. And of course, if being in a shell stretch like this doesn't feel good, being on your back is an option, standing up is an option. Inhaling in here and exhaling it out. Gently walking the hands forward. Let's flip. Yeah, let's go into our abs because I'm really excited about them today. I mean, I'm excited about them every day, but I've been playing around with some stuff for you. So we're going to keep our feet planted parallel hip distance. We're going to keep that pelvis as neutral as we can to start. So hip bones and pubic bone are as level as possible here. And we're just going to do a little foot slide to really, really establish what's happening in that deep low ab system. Yeah, so I like to put my fingertips on my hip bones, my thumbs at the base of my ribs, so I can watch if there's any change in range here. Together, let's inhale through the nose into the backs and sides of the ribs. Exhale out through the mouth. Rib cage draws down, pelvic floor draws up, belly draws wide. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. We're going to lift those left toes up, breathe in. As you breathe out, slide the left leg along the floor without letting any change in the pelvis happen. Inhale to be here and then exhale to drag it back in. Inhale to establish home base. Right leg this time slides away. Notice if the hips do anything funny, rocking side to side, and then pull the right leg in. So teeny tiny work, yeah? This very, very deep stabilizing stuff happening here. Oh, my hips are super wonky. There we go. And then pulling it in. Right leg slides away. Now I promise this is building to something super fun and exciting, as always. One more time to the left, slide that leg away, watching the pelvis. Pulling it in. Last time, right leg slides away. Take your breath in, and then slide that right leg back. Beautiful work. Hands are going to come behind your head, keeping your pelvis nice and level. Take your breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to curl it up, making sure that we don't scoop that low back to the floor, that we keep our hip bones as level as possible. Inhale to take it back in space. Exhale to nod and curl. So little bits of housekeeping here. Notice the tension that exists through your head, neck, and shoulders. We want to make sure we're not leading with our chin and that we're not looking up to the ceiling. That creates really angry things through the neck, yeah? So your hands are legitimately there to help support your neck for now. There are some options that I'm going to give you in a second. Well, a little more than a second. Once we get moving, let's go for 3. Nice and slow and calm for 2. One more time, we're going to curl up. We're going to pause. So again, at the top here, give your head a wiggle in your hands. Really let your head settle. And then as you breathe out, can you curl up a little bit higher through that rib cage? Look down at the space, pubic bone to belly button, and make sure it hasn't hollowed to the floor, and make sure it's not pressing up in space, right? We want to think nice and wide here. Now look at your hips as you move. Keep your hips super balanced. Can you slide the left leg away from you? Take a breath in, and then exhale, slide the left leg back. Inhale to be here. As you breathe out, right heel slides away. Hold your ab curl. In fact, think about curling a bit higher. Breathe out, curl the right leg in. Inhale. As we breathe out, left leg slides away. Take your inhale, exhale to pull it in. Inhale, exhale to slide, making sure every time you move that your pelvis is remaining 100% completely still. So I'm hoping you're feeling this deep in the center of your body, yeah? Not up at the top. Right leg slides away. Keeping the curl of your torso. One more time, just sort of warming up into that deep low ab placement here. One more time to the right. Pull it in and then lower down. If you'd like to give yourself a little rock side to side here, you totally can. Big breath in and then exhaling it out. Okay, settling those feet on the floor, settling that pelvis nice and neutral. We're going to take our arms this time and reach them up towards the ceiling. And you're going to give your arm muscles a really nice squeeze here. Maybe even make fists if you want to, or reaching through those fingertips. As you inhale, you're going to very subtly start to nod your chin towards your chest. And then as you breathe out, you're going to nod, you're going to reach, you're going to curl up, reaching your fingertips towards your heels. Inhale to lower down and back. Maybe arms reach back behind you a little bit. Exhale to nod and curl. Lengthen back, and then as you start to curl up, your head has to nod first so we don't leave it behind. Again, we're avoiding this thing, right, where you're looking up and leading your chin out. You should be looking at the top right between those thighs. Inhale to lengthen yourself back in space, pressing through those arms as you nod and curl up. Now, if your neck doesn't super love this, bring one hand behind your head to give your head a little bit of help here. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We're going to do 8 more. So if you're one-handing it, you're doing 4 with one hand, and then you're going to switch so that you can do the last 4 with the second side. Yes? We're going for 4. You could 2 hands behind the head, or you could 2 hands reach. For 3. Nice job here, team. For 2. One more time. We're going to curl up. We're going to hold it here. Now, keeping your pelvis nice and level. Can we start to side bend around to the left? Keep your hips totally still as if you're reaching for just the left heel. Then bring yourself to center. Let's take a side bend over to the right like you're reaching for that right heel. Bring yourself to center. Left, swiveling. So we're trying not to move our hips here as we do this little side bend. To the right and center, to the left. You got it, team. Now you could always omit the arm reach and just do the side to side. Oh, I'm feeling a little pokey in my rib cage. I feel like maybe I have a popped rib and I didn't know until right now. Side bend over and then to the right. Pause at center, take a breath in. Can we do little pulses at center wherever you are for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way down. Maybe give yourself a nice reach overhead. That's super exciting business. And then bring ourselves all the way back in. We're super not done. So that's our neutral pelvic placement. We're going to shift into our imprint. So again, if you take your fingertips to your hip bones, thumbs to your rib cage, you're going to take an inhale in here. And then as you breathe out, scoop through that low belly. So start to hollow your low belly so your low back heads towards the floor. Inhale to release that a little bit. And then as we exhale, scoop the low back towards the floor. 2 more. We want to make sure we're doing this without our glutes. It's really that deep low ab experience we were just working on. 1 more time. Inhale to release. Exhale to scoop. You're going to keep scooping here. We're going to bring those hands behind our head again. Keep scooping and hollowing through the belly, breathing in. As you breathe out, we're curling up through center, looking between those thighs, but this time you have a hollowed belly. Inhale to lengthen, head heavy in the hands, look up at the ceiling. As you breathe out, keep scooping and curl. Inhaling to lengthen it back. Exhaling to curl. So you're going to keep going. Every time you lengthen back, make sure you're still scooping through that belly. We're going to chat leg options. So as you're working here, maybe you're ready. Pelvis is level. To lift those heels up to hover. So just your toes are resting on the floor. Squeeze those legs together. Maybe it feels reasonable as you're imprinting to lift the toes. So the knees are stacked over the hips, but the shins are nice and calm. Maybe it feels reasonable to lift up to a tabletop. Inhaling back. Exhaling to curl. Keep going. Now, if you're a shin-hangy person, every time you curl up, you're going to lift your legs to a table. Drop them down as your body goes back. Lift them to a table as you curl. If you're a tabletop person, every time you curl up, you're straightening your legs. Bend them in as your torso goes back. Exhale to curl up and lengthen. So we have options here. Yeah, you could be dropped down and lift to a table. You could start at a table. You could lift to a lengthened leg. But wherever you are, you're going to start to add your oblique twist. Keep the legs moving. Twist up and over to one side. Inhaling through center. Remember, you're still scooping through that belly as you work here. Inhaling back. Exhaling it up. Super duper hollowing pubic bone to belly button. That is your tip-top priority on top of your pelvic flexibility. As you're working, if you'd like to add a reach of the arm, you totally can if you find that it just helps you arrange yourself in space. Exhaling up and over. Inhaling through center. Exhale up and reach. You got it here, team. Exhaling to reach. Let's do 2 more to each side wherever you are. Remember, you could also have your feet totally on the floor if you want to just super duper focus on your pelvic stability. Yeah? 1 more time to each side. The next time you reach over to the left or you twist over to the left, you're going to pause. Now, wherever your legs are, hanging or table or lengthened, can you take your breath in? As you breathe out, curl up a little more towards that outer left side. Little pulses here for 8, for 7, for 6. If you have straight legs, maybe reach them away. For 2, for 1. Inhale, center, breathe in. Exhale, up and over to the right, twist, pause. Find where you want your legs to be. Yeah, toes down, hovered, table, lengthened, lengthen and on an angle. Little pulses here for 8, for 7. But we're scooping. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Ooh, abs of steel. Let's take a little twist here so you can bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little cuddle and then let those legs melt over to the left. Right arm is going to come up overhead. Nice breath in here, please. Exhaling it out. From here, bringing those legs through center and taking your twist on your opposite side. Reaching arm up overhead, breathing in here. Expanding through the rib cage and exhaling to let that breath out. Let's continue rolling whichever side you're on. Bring yourself all the way up. Feel those abs maybe there. As a little bit of a, that's exciting business. And then let's flip onto our bellies. Feel good to stretch out through those abs a little bit. I wish I could say these sounds are just me being dramatic, but they're totally not. So let's place our hands down beside us. Let's flip the toenails. So toenail side of your foot is on the floor. Head is pressing down. Toenails pressing down. Quads are on, lifting up through those thighs, scooping through your belly. As you inhale, start to lift just the back of the head up. Little head nod forward. And then as you breathe out, you're going to lengthen your upper body out and up without pushing our ribs into the floor. We're zipping that rib cage and we're lengthening out. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, melting it down to the floor. Inhale, little head nod forward, lifting up through the crown of the head or the top of the head. And then as you breathe out, traction those hands. Draw the elbows down in space, pressing the thighs into the floor, lengthening up. Take a breath in and exhaling it down. 2 more like this. Breathing in. As you breathe out, lengthening out and up. Take a pause at the top. And then bring it down. Just sort of exercising, mobilizing, exploring this little bit of extension. At the top here, pause. So notice that I'm not super, super high up, yeah? And my goal as I'm here is to not sit in my hip bones, but rather lengthen out my low back to connect to my pubic bone. Drawing those legs out nice and long, pressing toenails into the floor. From here, take your breath in. As you breathe out, lift those hands to hover, please, just for a little check-in. We're going for 3. We're going for 2. We're going for 1. Lower the hands, lower your torso, turn one cheek to the mat. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, cool. So the next bit of business is going to require us collectively to be down, face down on the floor. For the purpose of being able to hear me properly, I'm going to stay up. So I'm going to talk, maybe come down, maybe go up. But for the whole time you practicing at home, you're going to stay down. I just don't want you to not be able to hear me clearly. Yeah. We're going to bring our left hand down in front of us. Bring your fingertips to your forehead. Your right arm is going to go out beside you into the shape of a T, or I guess just long. It's like your body's in the shape of a T or an L. Anyway, that arm is right out beside you. Can you feel your toes pressing into the floor? And start to draw your shoulder blades onto your back. So this is where I'm going to lift up, but you're going to stay down. Your right arm is going to start to rotate so that your thumb reaches up to the ceiling. Give yourself a thumbs up as you turn that right arm into a fist, and then you're going to lift that right arm up off of the floor. You're going to hold it in that T shape. Think wide across the top of the shoulder for 3, for 2, for 1. Lower, turn your palm back down to rest on the floor. Your forehead is on the ground. Your legs are long to your pubic bone. When you're ready, start to rotate your palm forward. Give yourself a thumbs up. Turn your hand into a fist. Squeeze your arm muscles and then lift that right arm directly up off of the floor, reaching that arm out. Now you're free through your neck, but remember your neck is on the floor. Holding for 2, holding for 1. Bring your palm down to rest on the floor. When you're ready, lift the arm, rotate so your palm faces up, thumbs up to the sky, and then lift that arm up for 4. Holding it here for 3. Holding it here for 2. Holding it here for 1. Rotate, lower back down. 3 more. We lift the palm, we rotate it forward, we give ourselves a thumbs up, and then we squeeze that shoulder blade onto the back as the arm lifts for 4. This is super middle trapezius work here for 3, for 2, For 1, rotate lower down. 2 more. Lift the arm up, palm forward, thumbs up. Squeeze that shoulder blade onto the back. Keep lifting that thumb up to the ceiling for 3. Top of the shoulder stays nice and calm for 2. For 1, rotate lower down. 1 more time. Lift the arm to hover, rotate palm, give yourself a thumbs up. Lift that arm out as much as you can, squeezing shoulder blade on the back, thumb points up. We're gonna do tiny controlled pulses. Lower an inch, lift up an inch. Lower down an inch, lift up an inch. For 3, lift, squeeze. For 2, lift, squeeze. Last 1, lift, squeeze, hold, 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 hold. Rotate lower down, take a little break. I'm gonna turn around so that you can see me, but you're totally super good right where you are. So really, really isolating here through that really gorgeous middle part of your trapezius, yeah? I have a little board in front of me with all my favorite shoulder exercises, so I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Mid-traps. Okay, let's go to the other side. So toes pressing down, resting your right fingertips underneath your forehead. Left arm is going right out beside you. Palm starts facing down. I'm going to lift up so that you can hear me, especially because the mic is like behind me now. But you're going to keep your head down. So all your little bits of housekeeping, zipping through those thighs, scooping through your belly, ribs are drawn in. Lift the arm a little bit, rotate the palm forward, give yourself a thumbs up as you make your hand into a fist. And then without squeezing shoulder to earlobe, we're gonna lift that arm up and squeeze and hold it there for 4. Squeeze and hold it there for 3. Squeeze and hold it there for 2. Last one, rotate, lower it down. Take a breath in. Rotate hand, give yourself a thumbs up and lift the arm to hover up off of the floor for 4. For 3, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up for 2. Last one, lower it down, pause, take a breath in. As you breathe out, rotate, lift it up, shoulder blade on your back for 4. Squeeze and lift for 3. Squeeze and lift for 2. Last one, rotate, lower down. 3 more. Lift the palm to hover, rotate the palm forward, give yourself a thumbs up, and then without squeezing your shoulder to your ear, lift that arm out and up for 4. For 3, legs, glutes still active. 2, 1, rotate it down. 2 more. Now, of course, only engage as much as feels reasonable for you. Yeah, if you start giving yourself a migraine, you're working too hard. So let there be space across the tops of those shoulders and into that neck. It's already a huge load to lift the arm up like this. And then especially if you have funky things happening for your shoulder, we're asking the body to work in serious isolation here. Last one, lift it up for 3. Hold and squeeze, lift it up for 2. Hold and squeeze, lift it up. We're doing those little pulses. So you're going up an inch, down an inch, up an inch, down an inch. For 4 and down. For 3 and down. For 2. Last one and bring it down. Woo. Middle traps. If you'd like to push back and take a bit of a shell stretch here, you can. Super isolated work through the shoulders, through your mid-back. Nice job. I'm going to turn around on my mat because we're going back to that right hand, but I'm sure you're fine right where you are. Coming all the way back down again. We're going to keep our heads down, and again, my head's going to come up. Same setup with the legs, pressing the toes into the floor, zipping through those thighs, scooping your belly so that your pubic bone finds contact with the floor if you can. We're just not pressing into our hips. Left fingertips find the forehead. This time your right arm is going to go out on a diagonal like you're doing a Y. So it's not beside you. It's not up overhead. It's reaching out. This one's going to be fun. Taking your inhale. As you exhale, just feel all your housekeeping. So remember, your head is down. I'm just up so that you can hear me. We're doing that same range. So you're going to turn your palm to face. This time it's going to scoop forward. Give yourself that thumbs up and lift your arm up in that Y shape this time. For 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, lower gently to the floor. Turn your palm to face down, breathing in. As you breathe out, scoop that arm forward. Give yourself a thumbs up. Lift your arm up in that Y shape for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, lower it down, release. Take your breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to flip your palm forward. It's like you're scooping your pinky finger along the floor, giving yourself that thumbs up, and lift it up in that Y. For 3, for 2, your shoulders are going to feel so good tomorrow, and your mid-back. 3 more. Scoop the pinky finger, give yourself a thumbs up, reach that arm out as you lift it up in that Y shape for 4. Remember, you're not collapsing through your low back, you're lengthening it out for 2. Last one, lower down, 2 more. Scoop your pinky finger, thumbs up, strong arm, lift out and up for 4, for 3, for 2, 1, lower down, pause, last time. Scoop your pinky finger. Remember, you're lifting up in the shape of a Y, scooping through that belly. We're going to little pulse, so drop it down a little bit, lift it back up. Drop it down just a little, lift it back up. Let's go for 3, and lift. For 2, and lift. Last one, lift it up, squeeze, 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 and bring it down. Finding our other side. I'm going to turn around so you can see me, but you don't need to. Whew. It's really tough isolating this stuff, eh? Your shoulders are so complicated. So last time, and I'm still doing my anatomy, my shoulder rehabilitation, and Lord on earth, it is so exciting. Okay, right fingertips are down, feet are pressing into the floor, scoop through that pelvis, fire through your glutes, ribs are in. Take a breath in to be here. Take a breath out just to be here. So your arm isn't out beside you, it's not overhead, it's opening out into the shape of a Y. I'm gonna keep my head up, but your head is gonna be down. Start to scoop your palm to face forward. So the arm is going to externally rotate. So your pinky finger is down, your thumb is up, like you're giving yourself a big thumbs up. And then lift that arm out and up in that Y. Hold it there for 4. Again, try not to squeeze so much you give yourself a headache. Let your neck be nice and calm in your hands. For 2, that's why we're keeping it down. 1, bring your arm down, palm faces the floor. Breathe it in. As you breathe out, scooping, lifting, as that thumb reaches up. For 4, for 3, for 2, last one, rotate, place it down. Breathing in here. Scoop that finger so your palm faces forward, pinky down, thumb up. Open across the top of the collarbones, tops of the shoulders as you lift that arm up into its Y. For 4, for 3, for 2, last one, rotate it down. 3 more. Scoop the pinky finger, thumbs up, lifting up in that Y shape. Ooh, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, lower it down, palm faces down. 2 more. Scoop your pinky finger, thumb faces up. Shoulder blades on your back, please. As we lift that left arm in the shape of a Y. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, palm faces down, last time. Scoop the hand, pinky down, thumb up, lift up in that Y shape. For 4, for 3, for 2, we're gonna do that tiny little pulse. Down an inch, up an inch. Down an inch, up an inch. For 4, and up. For 3, and up. For 2, and lift. Last one, lift it up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Bring it down. Woo. Ooh, if it feels good, push back into your shallow stretch. So we worked through your middle, lower, and upper traps there with those 2 exercises. And between all 3 of those, you sort of cover all of the movements that your shoulder makes. All right, let's bring ourselves all the way up. Let's give ourselves a nice roll of those shoulders. We're going to get moving again. So if you want to, well, not that we weren't moving this whole time, but if you want to lay something down for your knees, because we're going to be doing a little bit of rocking and rolling side to side, just so you have a little bit of extra comfort, yeah? So nice and calm, we're gonna I'm a little teapot over onto that left hand. Your right leg is gonna kick out beside you. Your right arm reaches up. Use your obliques, bring everything back up to center. And then we're gonna I'm a little teapot over to the right side, reach the left leg up, left arm up. Bring yourself up and over. We go to that first side. So it's a little bit of a kick. Obliques, legs, arms bring you up. Take that I'm a little teapot moment over. So you could go through this fairly slowly, or you're welcome to pick it up a bit. Kick, up and in. Kick, up and in. Now we're pretty light on our hands here because we're using our core to control the descent and the way up. Reach up and over, pull it up. Reach up and over. Pilates is just so fun. Like, think of all the stuff we've already done, right? Working through our abs, working through our shoulders like that. Whew. For 3, I just love it so much. For 2, we're gonna meet over on that right side. 1. Now, if you're already like, Dom, my shoulders have had enough, my neck has had enough, you're gonna slide down onto your right hip and meet us lying on the floor, yes? Just like this on your right side, your patterning is gonna be exactly the same. If you're happy as a clam with the challenge of being up and over into your I'm a little teapot moment, feel free to stay there. We're gonna take that left leg, lift it up to the ceiling. Inhale to lower down and tap, and then lift it up. Now, little bits of housekeeping. We just worked tons on stabilizing through that mid, back, and shoulder. So use it here. Push the floor away if that range is available to you. If you look down at your hand, it's going to be potentially a lot nicer on your neck than looking forward or looking up, yeah? This is a lot less strenuous. We're squeezing through both of our glutes, even that bottom one, as we lift the leg up. So we're in a nice moment of lateral flexion here, which just means side bend. Kind of nice for the spine to get that reprieve. Being up and over as opposed to an extension and flexion, yeah? We're going for 3. If you're lying on your side, you're doing the same thing with that leg. For 2, last 1, we're gonna lift it up. We're gonna take that top leg forward in space like you kind of want to poke something in front of you, and then squeeze and bring it back. We're gonna take that top leg forward. Now think about sticking your bum out as the leg comes forward, and then squeeze and bring it back. Reach it forward. Now there was a time in my life where there's no way, no how this was possible in my neck, and coming down and resting my head on my arm and really focusing on my glutes felt really super fabulous. Now, for the sake of me talking through this, I'm going to stay down here, but please know that you can definitely be up in that side bend still. Reach that arm forward, stick your bum out, draw it back. Keeping that top hip stacked right on top of your bottom hip, just making sure there's no rolling back here, yeah? Inhaling to bring it forward, squeezing to bring it back. We're going for 3. Are we feeling those top glutes yet? We're going for 2. Whew. 1 more time. You're going to take that leg back. Beautiful. Now keep your leg back in space. Sorry, third option, you could always be up on your forearm. We're going to pulse that leg up on a backward diagonal. Up and back, and then lower. Up and back, and then lower. So it's not going to touch the floor, but it's just going to sort of hover, yeah? Back and up. If you're up on your hands and knees, it goes down and then lift. And then down and then lift. Trying to keep that top hip nice and stacked. For 4. For 3, I'm hoping it's getting spicy. Yes, 2. Last 1, lift, lift, lift. Take that leg this time forward ever so slightly. Internally rotate, and then same thing. Down a bit, and then lift. Down a bit, and then lift. So we're leading from the heel as best as we can here. For 4, lift and squeeze. 3, lift and squeeze. Glutes of steel. 2, lift it up. Beautiful. 1 time, lift, 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 lift. Lower down. Give your bum a little zhuzh. And then 3, 2, 1. You're going to find a side plank of your choice. And the side plank of your choice might be no side plank at all. Yes? Really lifting the hips up, zipping through the thighs and glutes, pushing the floor away. Now, again, we've done tons of work on that bottom shoulder. So bring the shoulder on the back, hug the forearm in, lifting it up. Gaze could be down. Maybe you'd like to add some movement here, in which case you're going to lift your hips up, squeeze under like you want to give yourself a pat on the back. Lower down, and then exhale, lift up and squeeze. You could totally have a foot in front to help facilitate this. We're going for 3. Exhaling to lift. You could be on your hand. We're going for 2. You could be on 2 knees. One more time. Lift up, squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then melt to the floor. Let's roll onto our backs. Bring our knees into our chest. Take a nice big breath in here. And exhale it out. I'm going to grab some water as we do that all over again. Are we super excited? Maybe not super excited. Maybe like, at least we only have 2 legs, yeah? 2 arms, 2 legs. So we're gonna go back into our little tipping experience, our little tipping exploration, and then we'll pause on the left. So let's start by going to the left, yeah? So reaching that right leg out. When you're ready, I'm a little teapot, you can lift that leg up, and then fold everything into center. Take your moment as you lengthen it out to the opposite side. Bring yourself up. So the more that you think about hugging the leg in like you're doing a hamstring curl and lifting up from the bottom waist, the less you're gonna have to use that bottom arm. Pull it in. Yeah, it's this really nice invisible hamstring curl moment. Reach it up and out, and then exhale to squeeze. And it's quite amazing if we're feeling like that movement is continuous, that we don't have to do as much work with the upper body to kind of crash to the floor, yeah? For 4. For 3. For 2. We're gonna finish over on that left side, last one, pause. Right leg is up this time, hips are stacked, squeezing the bottom bum cheek. Lower the top leg to tap to the floor, and then exhale to lift it up. Lower down to tap, and then exhale to lift. So as we're working here, again, keep going. Your head could be facing down to the floor. We're pushing that floor away, shoulder blade on our back, ribs are in. Letting that leg move with control in both directions. So it's not collapsing down and swinging up, right? It's lowering with control, lifting with control. If that's feeling south of fabulous, you could always come up onto your forearm. You could always lie down on that left arm too, yeah? Just making sure that we're keeping those hips stacked. There doesn't necessarily have to be any sort of like waist gap or anything like that. We just want to make sure the rib cage is drawn in. Exhaling to lift. I'm going to stay down here for a second while we celebrate how exciting this feels in the glutes. So happy. My room is slowly turning into a jungle the longer I'm at home. And it does feel like they're my little cheerleaders when I'm teaching and moving. We're going for 4, lifting it up. We're going for 3. So if anyone's ever propagating anything, let me know. I love a good propagation moment. For 2, we're going to lift up. We're going to hold. Now you could be lying down. You could be on your forearm. You could be kneeling all the way up. We're going to take that leg forward, stick your bum out behind you, squeeze your glutes in, bring that leg back. Keep drawing the rib cage in, stick your bum out, and then exhaling to squeeze. Inhaling forward, and then exhaling it back. Beautiful. Keep going. Gonna come on, join everybody who's up at the top here like this. Taking it forward and then exhaling it back. I accidentally went on a 34-kilometer bike ride on Sunday. I'm still feeling it. Reach it forward, especially on my right leg. It's like, oh yeah, no, we're still good. Keep going here, team. Let's go for 3. Reach it back. We're gonna go for 2. Squeeze it, reaching it, using that burning experience to add a little bit more fire, yeah? Pause with that leg behind you. It goes down a little bit and then up a little bit, down a little bit and then up a little bit, down and then lift. Keep drawing into that rib cage and lift. We're going for 4 and up for 3. You got it. You got it. For 2. I'm on fire too. We're doing it together. Last one. Lift it up. Take that leg forward in space so it passes through center, slightly forward. Stick your bum out. Internally rotate your leg, but keep your hips stacked. So it's like you're lifting up through your heel. Down a little bit and then lift. Down a little bit and then lift. We're going for 6. For 5. Keep going. For 4. For 3. And lift. You can do it for 2. Last one. Lift, 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 and bring it down. Give yourself a little zhuzh. And then when you're ready, we're going to set ourselves up for our kneeling plank. Now, I'm loving a good leg in front these days. I just find that it helps give me the stability so that my neck feels fine. Oh, it's also a big stretch through the glute. Holy moly. Now, if you would like to add to this, remember, you could also be up on your hand. You could have 2 legs. You're going to take your breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to scoop your arm underneath you and use your glutes and waist to lift up a bit higher. Inhale to drop down ever so slightly as your arm goes up. Use your bottom obliques and your glutes to lift up and around. 3 more. Remember, you could always have a foot, which is certainly not cheating. For 2, it's giving you support to add rotation to your torso, which is good. One more time. Reach and rotate. Bring yourself all the way down. Let's sit ourselves up cross-legged. You might want to roll a blanket or a cushion underneath your pelvis. Let's do left foot forward to start. Inhaling to be nice and tall. As you breathe out, walk those hands forward. Now we're not gonna like sit in a stretch, but we are just gonna take a moment to catch our breath. Walking those hands over to the right. Feeling the left hip hugging back. In and out here. Walking those hands back to center. Bring yourself all the way up. And then right leg comes in front. Now, don't be surprised if your right bum cheek feels like it's still sort of resonating with the experience because it hasn't had as long to soften, right? The left leg had the whole right side. So just be nice to yourself. Can't expect it to be softer. My watch just told me I still have more steps, and I'm like, watch, I'm busy. I'm doing Pilates. Walk those hands over to the left. Feel your right hip hug back. Walking your hands through center and then bringing it all the way up, giving those legs a nice little wiggle, wiggle. Okay, we're going to scoop our blankets out of the way here. We're going to take ourselves all the way down onto our backs. So if you like to slide a blanket underneath your shoulders and head, please feel free. Arms are reaching up towards the ceiling. Let's rotate the palms to face in and then continue the journey so that they're rotating to try to face behind you, yeah? We're going to flick our wrists back so you're showing off the fleshy part of your wrist to that space behind you. And then we're going to take those biceps back towards our ears. Now your goal is going to be to try to keep the bicep by the ear. So lots of shoulder flexion here. Can we keep that rib cage drawn in? We're going to bend our elbows to tap the heels of the hands towards the floor, but it's likely not going to happen. It's likely going to be knuckles. And then as you exhale, reach those arms straight, but keep the bicep by the ears. Inhaling to bend it down. Exhaling to reach. Inhaling, bend. Exhaling, reach. We're going for 10. Reach it back. As you're moving here, can you keep your rib cage trying to draw down? Now, if this is too much for your shoulders, too much shoulder flexion, you could always bring your arms up and work a little more vertically. But the more we sort of edge towards the floor, the more load for your triceps. For 5. For 4. Let's go, ladies. For 3. For 2. Oh my gosh, on fire, on fire, on fire, on fire. One more time. Reach those arms out, bring them down. Connect to the back of your thigh. Roll yourself up in space. Sitting up nice and tall, let's take that left arm, reach it up and around and back. So maybe your fingertips face out, maybe your fingertips face into your hips. Right arm is going to do the same thing, doing our super duper best to lengthen up. Now this is a huge stretch through the front of the shoulders. So we've gone from working in shoulder flexion, now we're in shoulder extension, yeah? So it's the same sort of movement, but the backwards version. We're going to bend down through those elbows and then press ourselves up. You could set yourself up if you're at home with your hands against a couch or a bench or like a kitchen countertop, anything that's going to allow you to find the range. Press it back and squeeze. On a chair, as long as it's not on wheels, and not going to roll away from you. If you'd like, as you stretch those arms, you're going to add a hip lift. We're going for 5. Now, if you liked the first version better, feel free to go for it. For 4, press and lift. For 3, press and lift. For 2, press and lift. One more time, press and lift. If you're up in a bridge, you're going to hold it here. Squeeze those triceps. 10, 9, looking forward. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Whew. Bring yourself up. Give your arms a little shakety shake, shake, shake. Flipping back over onto hands and knees. We're going to bring our right foot forward in space. We're going to walk our right foot a little bit wide, yeah? So it's not staying right in front of us. It's sort of traveling, heel-toeing out a little bit. Maybe your hands come down to the floor. Maybe they come onto blocks or a chair, something you're resting on. Can you turn your right toes out to 2 o'clock and then squeeze those legs in towards each other? So left bum cheek is on, right heel is hugging back. Maybe you can keep the tension and without touching your legs, start to rotate that leg out. So we're pulling our big toes off of the floor. Still hug pinky toe edge along the floor. Maybe lengthen that right arm up. We're going to hold tension here. It's a bit of a hip release. For 3, for 2, keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Last one, bring it in. Turn those toes to point forward. Stick your bum out. Give yourself a hamstring stretch. Maybe lift those toes if you'd like to. We're going to do that again. Bringing ourselves forward in space. So like you're doing a runner's lunge, but I just don't want us to sit into our hips. We're going to hug right heel back, left hip forward. Fire that bum cheek. Turn the right toes out to 2 o'clock. Keep hugging the legs in. And then without using your hands, start to peel up onto that pinky toe side of your foot. Hug the legs in. Rotate the spine, reaching up to the ceiling. For 4. Back toes can be tucked or untucked. I just find it nicer on my knee when I tuck. For 3. For 2. Last 1. Bring those toes forward again. Reach yourself back. Little bit of a hamstring stretch. So much work through the whole body today. Keep breathing into that hamstring stretch. We started off by mobilizing through our shoulders, through some protraction and retraction, and we added some abs and legs to that as well, some quads, whether you were squatting up and down or whether you were doing the knee hovers. Walk yourself forward, take the right leg back, and then step the left foot forward. Yes, I'm just going to turn so you can see my other side. From there, we came onto our back and worked a little more isolated through your abs. From where you are right now, squeeze those legs into each other. Heel toe your left foot a little bit wider, turning those left toes out towards 10 o'clock. Hug those legs in, and with your own musculature, peel your big toe off. So turn that thigh out. Maybe right hand is on the floor. Now keep pulling the legs towards each other so they're nice and toned, and then rotate that left arm up. From the abs, we were also on our bellies. Flipped onto our bellies and worked super isolated through our posture muscles of our back chain. Like so much amazing work there. Don't be surprised if you're sore tomorrow. Bring your leg in, flip your toes forward, sit your bum back, hamstring stretch. From there, we moved into some side glute work, which we then added on not just a side plank, but a side plank with a rotation. Bring your body weight forward, turn those left toes out to 10, hug the legs in so they're really, 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 if you poke them, the muscles are tense. Peel off of the big toe so you're just on the pinky toe edge, and then maybe add a rotation here. But keep squeezing your legs. Yeah, we're not sitting in a stretch here. It's really quite active. And then from there, we just finished off with a little bit more through more isolated triceps. And then potentially at the end, you added on some lifting up through the back of the legs. So much work through the whole body today. As always, bring your arm down, turn your toes to face forward, send your hips back in space. Breathing it in here, breathing it out. There were some hamstrings in there as well when we were doing those little kicks side to side, plus through that movement of your legs. Take your left leg and scoot it back. We're going to tuck our toes underneath us, start to walk your hands towards your knees, roll over your feet so you end up in this hanging forward fold. If your head doesn't like being below your heart, feel free to come up a bit higher. But if you're happy hanging, feel free to give a generous bend of your knees, maybe a rub into those glutes and hamstrings. Taking a breath in to be nice and low. As you breathe out, start to press through the feet. Start to roll your spine all the way up to standing. From standing, inhale, reach those arms up. As you breathe out, give yourself a squeeze. Thank you so much for all of your hard work today whenever you get to this class. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Thank you so much for having me in, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Good work, team.
Hey, Dom.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
Good. I saw you sort of peek in, and I was like, oh, nice to see you.
I almost forgot how to join the class. So I had to refer to the calendar. It's like, oh, that's right. That's how you do it. So.
And it's funny, eh? Like we get in these habits and then they switch, and then it's a pleasure to see you. It's so good to see you.
Good. So things are well?
Things are good. I've sort of gotten used to this, and a few studios I work at have opened up again, and it's almost like, all right, teaching back